Well, hello there, guys. Welcome back. Larry here. Well, we finally know what the 8 matchups are going to be. The 16 teams. Of course, it came down to one of the last days to figure out who's playing who. But we now know. We now know who's playing who and where. So I wrote down. Now, of course, I do this every year. I write down on my little notepad here. Here's the matchups. You can get a decent look at that. I've done this every year for as long as I can remember. That's kind of how I keep track. And yeah. So I mean that's kind of how I keep track. And I keep track each game. So I write, at the end of each night, I go through and I write down, who's leading, who's not. You might be able to tell, in some of the, you can see, 0-0s. I do that. They're both sides, and I do that, and I update that at the end of each night. So whoever ends up winning, I update those, and yeah. I mean, I'm wearing the home team wild. They clinched home ice tonight against St. Louis, and the Wild haven't done the greatest against St. Louis this year. I mean, who knows? Playoffs are a completely different ball game. So hopefully the Wild can show up and have a good showing against St. Louis. But of course, y'all know this, but I figured I'll go through the matchups here. The number 1 seed in the Central Division semifinals is the Colorado Avalanche. They are playing the number 4 seed Nashville Predators. The number 2 seed in the Central Division semifinals, of course, is the Minnesota Wild. They go against the number 3 seed in the Central, the St. Louis Blues. Now we go down into the Pacific, the regular season Pacific Division champions. So their number 1 in the Pacific Division semifinals is the Calgary Flames. They are playing the number 4 team, which is the 5th team in the Central, but because they're the second wild card, they move down into the Pacific Division playoffs. I know that can be a little confusing now and then. That would be the Dallas Stars. So Calgary plays Dallas in their 1-4 matchup. In a series that I think is going to be something else. I think this is going to be a really good one. The number 2 seeded Edmonton Oilers in the Pacific Division semifinals against the number 3 seeded LA Kings. Now, LA, we've seen LA make the playoffs and do some stuff that wasn't anticipated. So we'll see what they can do there. That should be a really good series though. The 2-3 matchup in the Pacific, Edmonton and Los Angeles, that should be a lot of fun. Now we go over to the Eastern Conference, and we go to the Atlantic Division semifinals, where you have the number 1 seed and President's Trophy winning Florida Panthers. They are playing the number 4 seeded Washington Capitals. The Capitals, of course, came from the Capitals went from the Metropolitan Division up into the Atlantic Division because they were the number 2 wild card. And oddly enough, the number 1 wild card went from the Atlantic Division down into the Metropolitan Division as their number 4 seed. So the 1-4 matchup in the Atlantic Division semis, of course, Florida versus Washington. The 2-3 matchup, I think, is going to be the most intriguing. And I don't know, it's definitely, I mean, I got some friends who are definitely going to be big into this one. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs, the number 2 seed against the number 3 seed, defending 2-time Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. Toronto, who's had a fantastic year. Austin Matthews hit 60 goals. Those guys have been fantastic. I mean, I've watched Steve Dangle's LFRs and how I mean they're pumped for these Leafs. They have a great year, and what's their reward? They got to play a team that hasn't lost a series since 2019. That's going to be a really good one. I don't know who's going to win that one. I think it'll be fun to watch, no matter who wins. Now we go down into the Metropolitan Division. The number 1 seed in the Metro is the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina, great year. They go against the number 4 seeded Boston Bruins, who they were the Atlantic Division team that switched down into the Metro. So it's interesting how that worked, where a Metro Division team was in a spot for the playoffs where they moved into the Atlantic Division playoffs, where a team in the Atlantic Division then moved into the Metro Division playoffs. So it's interesting how the wild cards work, because you can get with the cross divisional, you can get a cross division series. Like we see in the Pacific Division, Calgary and Dallas. Dallas is in the same division as the Minnesota Wild is. That's the Central. But because they got the number 1 wild card, they moved into the Pacific Division playoffs. So, it's just that's kind of how that works. And the number 2 seed in the Metro is this team could be dangerous, especially with their goaltender. It is the number 2 seeded New York Rangers. With Igor Shesterkin backstopping them, boy, it I mean, a lot of people say, the Rangers' Achilles heel, they don't have a whole ton of scoring. They might not need a whole ton of scoring with Shesterkin in net. So, that's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. And they are playing the number 3 seed in the Metro Division, the Pittsburgh Penguins, who a lot of people think are due for a run because, Crosby, Malkin, Letang, those guys, they're getting older, and they're wanting to get at least one more good run in. Well, to do that, they got to get through the New York Rangers. So, very, very interesting first round matchups. Very interesting matchups in the division semifinals. Should be a lot of fun. And some of these series, I mean, obviously I'll be pulling for the Wild to beat St. Louis, obviously. But I mean, Colorado and Nashville, that's my wife will probably be watching, will be keen on that one probably, because she's a Preds fan. So, she'll probably be keeping an eye on that one. And then of course the Wild and the Blues, the Flames and the Stars. That is going to be, to me, that's going to be an intriguing series, because the last time the Flames and the Stars played in the first round, it was in the bubble in 2020, and the Flames had a chance to go up 3-1 on Dallas, and they didn't get it done. Dallas ended up winning the game. Dallas went on to win that series in 6, and what did Dallas end up doing? They wound up all the way in the finals. So that is a rematch from 2020, which should be a lot of fun. A lot a lot of people probably aren't expecting Dallas to win that series, but playoffs, anything can happen. You just don't know. Upsets are huge a lot of times in the playoffs, no matter whether it's divisional matchups or conference matchups. Of course, the Oilers and Kings, they haven't played each other in a long time, I think, in the playoffs. So that should be a real interesting series to see. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, can they finally make a run here? Can they get on a roll? Mike Smith has been lights out his last 8 games, 9 games. I mean, he's unbeaten. So the Oilers definitely they've got they've got the hot hand going right now. But again, they're playing an LA team that's they've been there, they've done it. They made two runs nobody expected them to make in 2012 and 2014. So that should be a lot of fun. Then, of course, the Panthers and Capitals. The Capitals, of course, they won the Stanley Cup in 2018. They're going against a team. Yes, they won the President's Trophy. They came 2 wins shy of 60 wins, which is that's an incredible win mark to even get close to. But that team, the Florida Panthers, has not won a round since their 3rd year in the league, which was the year they went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals, which was my senior year in high school. That's a long time. That is a long time since they have won a postseason series. So, that's not going to be a cakewalk for the Florida Panthers. If they're thinking, they're just going to, stroll right through Washington, I don't think so. But the Panthers are also a team that's averaging over 4 goals a game. They're just unbelievable offense, an unbelievable offensive team. So we'll have to see how Samsonov, Vanacek, and the Capitals can try to slow them down, and we'll see if they can. And this one of all the series, this is one that I think that I will probably be keeping the closest eye on, other than, of course, Minnesota, St. Louis, and that's Toronto and Tampa. That is, oh boy, that's going to be something. The Toronto Maple Leafs, they're another team that has had some really bad luck in the playoffs. They've had leads in Game 7 that they've blown. They've had 3-1 series leads that they've blown and lost. They haven't won a playoff series since 2004. You gotta think they're due. That they're due for to make some noise. But who's the team they gotta face? Look who's staring at them. They're like, yay, we had a great season. Oh, gee, now we got to play the team that hasn't lost a playoff round since 2019. The 2-time defending champion Lightning. That, I think, of all the series, that is the most intriguing to me. Other than Minnesota and St. Louis, which that's the homer in me watching that one. That one there, though, Tampa Bay and Toronto, I think, is going to be the most intriguing matchup of the entire first round. And I don't care who wins. That's the thing. A lot of these matchups, I don't have a dog in that fight. The only dog I really have in a fight is the Minnesota Wild against St. Louis. That's my dog in the fight. Other than that, I love all the teams. I wish they could all have success. But Toronto and Tampa. Going to be interesting. The Metro Division, these are two teams that have met more than a few times in their history, dating all the way back to when they were the Hartford Whalers, and that's the Carolina Hurricanes and the Boston Bruins. That's going to be a good series. A lot of people I don't think are going to be picking Boston to win that series, but I don't know. I think it'll be a really interesting series. I think that'll be a fun one to watch. And of course, that's a 1-4 matchup. So, if Boston ends up winning, people will think of that as an upset because it's a number 4 beating a number 1. But Boston had over 100 points also. So, that's going to be a good one. The number 2 and 3 seed, two teams that again are very familiar with each other. Come playoff time, regular season, everything. The two teams that don't really like each other. And that's the New York Rangers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's going to be a fun series too, I think. Can the Penguins find a way to solve Shesterkin? Can the New York Rangers put together enough offense to, potentially hang with the Penguins with Crosby, Malkin, Gensel, Letang? I mean, they got some boys there. They've got some really, really good players. And we'll see if the Rangers can hold up. We'll see how Igor holds up. I love that name. I love his name. I just, you hear his name, you hear Igor, and you're expecting him to have a hump, yes, master, yes, master. That's almost what you expect when you hear the name Igor. And it kind of has me thinking, who the hell names their kid Igor? Apparently the Shesterkins do. So I love his name. I think his name's fantastic. I'm not crapping on his name at all. I think his name's fantastic. Just just to be able to say Igor is awesome. So Igor against that vaunted Penguin offense of Crosby, Malkin, Gensel, Letang, and those boys. It's gonna be fun. These are gonna be some really, really good series, I think. Do I see any series potentially being sweeps? I don't see any sweeps. You might get a team that wins in 5, but I think most of these series are going 6 or 7. I think the one series that I see going 5 is Colorado and Nashville, which I know that would tick the wife off because she'd go and say, hey, the last time, people slept on the Predators, look what happened. Oh yeah, they ended up in the finals. So, but they're against a Colorado team that is just, dude. I mean, how do you not have them favored to come out of the Western Conference? So, I mean, that's the series that I think could go 5. The other ones, I think most of the other ones are going to go at least 6. I think there's a couple that are going to go 7. Oh, the ones I could see going 7. I think the Rangers and Penguins have the potential to go 7 games. Maybe Carolina and Boston go 7. No, I'm not totally sold on that. I think that one goes 6. I think Toronto and Tampa goes at least 6. Florida and Washington. All depends on if Ovi's in the lineup, I guess. If Ovi's healthy, I think Washington will be able to hang with him. If Ovi's not, that could be a 5-game series also. But, the Wild in St. Louis, I think that's going to go at least 6. Hopefully with these guys coming out on top. Hopefully. Because they haven't been out of the first round in a long time either. So, the homer in me wants to see the Wild do well. This is the best season the Wild's ever had in their more than 20... What is this? Their 23rd year? 23rd year in the league? This is the best season they've ever had. They've never had a 100-point scorer. Kirill Kaprizov got 100 points. He got 48 goals? 47 or 48 goals. He got in there. So, yeah. It'll be interesting to see. We'll definitely have to see how these kick off, and they start on Sunday, or not Sunday, Monday. I think they all start on Monday. I know the Wild start Monday. The Wild, I know, start on Monday. So I think Monday is when most of them start. And yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Who do you guys think's going to win? Do you think these series go? Do you think there's going to be any sweeps? Does some of them end in 5? Some end in 6? Some in 7? I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on that. Because this is going to be a fun time. My favorite time of the year. Even though it is a little later than it normally is. Hopefully next year we'll be back on the normal track where they can start, first week in October, and the playoffs can start right there the second week in April, not going into May, first part of May, where then the Stanley Cup might not get, end of June, early July, maybe. So let me know your guys' thoughts. What's the length of the series as you guys got? Who do you guys think will end up winning? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. I thank you guys for hanging in there with me. Hopefully I didn't bore you through the whole thing. Hopefully you were able to get to, go from start to finish. If you you were, thank you very much. I appreciate it more than you guys can ever know. And if new people are just catching the channel for the first time, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Watch some of the other videos on the channel. Hopefully you like them. If you like them, hit that subscribe button. I would gladly appreciate it. I would love to have you all be a part of the channel, because this is fun. This is fun. This is fun to do, and this is the first time I've actually been able to do a playoff, any type of playoff setup here on the channel, because I only started this I don't think even a year ago. So yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. Who do you guys think's gonna win? To me, it's a total crapshoot. I just, it's hard to pick right now. But yeah, I think some could end in 5. Most of them I think will end in 6. You might get 1 or 2 that go to 7. We'll find out. We'll find out here in the next week and a half to 2 weeks. We'll see what happens. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Let me know your guys' predictions. I'd love to hear it. And again, if you're new and you're just seeing these videos for the first time, hopefully you like them. If you like them, hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and I would love to have you all be a part of the channel. And yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. Talk to you guys again soon.